Hello world. I never know whether I should say anything until someone comes on, because I suppose you'll see it later. Oh, there we go. Hello. Hi guys. Happy Wednesday? Yes, it's Wednesday. Ted says hello. Okay. How is everyone doing? It's Wednesday. It's day, I don't know, of this kind of lockdown thing. I have a weird twitch in my eye. I don't know about you, but I keep waking up at like 6, if not before. Hi everyone. I keep waking up at like 6 and just being really wired in the morning. Oh. But it's all good. I went for a really nice walk today in one of my local woods and went to the lake. Hey Sebastian. Hi there. It was just such a beautiful day, and it was very, very quiet and weren't many people there. But yeah, God, thank God for the weather, eh? Anyway, it's story time. I'm actually also going live on Twitter at 7, so I'm just going to do one story today, and maybe I'll do more next week. Yeah, I just want to be on time for Twitter as well. So, hi Andrew. So today I've decided to do one from a very old book of mine, Beatrix Potter. This was a present for me when I was 1 year old. 1 year old. I was 1 year old when I got this, which was a million years ago, as you can imagine. So I don't know if any of the children that are watching have seen any Beatrix Potter or read any Beatrix Potter. But if you don't know, Beatrix Potter is all about animals and their secret lives that we don't really know about. But it turns out that Beatrix Potter did know about them, so she wrote them down for us. So, Ted, are you sitting comfortably? Yes, I'm all right. I'm happy on your knee. Okay, great. There's a few in here, and I think I'm going to choose The Tale of Flopsy Bunnies. It's a little bit scary, but I think it's okay. And then there's some really nice pictures as well. I don't know if you can see them very well on a screen. Let me just try and zoom in manually. Can you see there? Can you see in the leaves there? What? Can you see any animals? I think there's a few animals in there hiding. So I think they're bunnies. I'll begin if you're ready, if you're sitting comfortably. Okay, The Tale of the Flopsy Bunnies. It is said that the effect of eating too much lettuce is soporific. I have never felt sleepy after eating lettuces, but then I am not a rabbit. They certainly had a very soporific effect upon the Flopsy Bunnies. There's a picture of them sleepy. That was a big word, wasn't it? Soporific. And soporific means sleepy. When Benjamin Bunny grew up, he married his cousin Flopsy. They had a large family, and they were very improvident and cheerful. I do not remember the separate names of their children. They were generally called the Flopsy Bunnies. And there they are. There's the family of bunnies. Lots of them there, lots of babies running around. And there's Mum. And there's Dad. Hi, Adam. Hello, everyone. As there was not always quite enough to eat, Benjamin used to borrow cabbages from Flopsy's brother, Peter Rabbit, who kept a nursery garden. How lovely of Peter Rabbit to help the family. There he is over the fence, and that's his nursery garden. And a nursery garden means when you're growing lots of plants. Sometimes Peter Rabbit had no cabbages to spare. When this happened, the Flopsy bunnies went across the field to a rubbish heap in the ditch outside Mr. McGregor's garden. Mr. McGregor's rubbish heap was a mixture. There were jam pots and paper bags and mountains of chopped grass from the mowing machine, which always tasted oily, and some rotten vegetable marrows and an old boot or two. One day, oh joy, there were a quantity of overgrown lettuces which had shot into flower. Lucky bunnies. Can you see? Can you see all the lettuces they're eating there? Oh, they're having a great time there. The Flopsy bunnies simply stuffed lettuces. By degrees, one after another, they were overcome with slumber and lay down in the mown grass. Benjamin was not so much overcome as his children. Before going to sleep, he was sufficiently wide awake to put a paper bag over his head to keep off the flies. There he is, sleeping with a paper bag on his head. Very good. Hello, Richard. Hi, Ben. The little Flopsy bunnies slept delightfully in the warm sun. From the lawn beyond the garden came the distant clackety sound of the mowing machine. The blue bottles buzzed about the wall, and a little old mouse picked over the rubbish among some jam pots. I can tell you her name. She was called Thomasina Tittlemouse, a wood mouse with a long tail. There's Thomasina. Can you see her? Look at her long tail there. I like mice. I think they're cute. She rustled across the paper bag and awakened Benjamin Bunny. The mouse apologised profusely and said that she knew Peter Rabbit. While she and Benjamin were talking, close under the wall, they heard a heavy tread above their heads, and suddenly Mr. McGregor emptied out a sackful of lawn mowings right upon the top of the sleepy Flopsy bunnies. Benjamin shrank down under his paper bag. The mouse hid in a jam pot. Oh, dear. The little rabbits smiled sweetly in their sleep under the shower of grass. They did not awake because the lettuces had been so soporific. They dreamt that their mother Flopsy was tucking them up in a hay bed. Mr. McGregor looked down after emptying his sack. He saw some funny little brown tips of ears sticking up through the lawn mowings. He stared at them for some time. Presently, a fly settled on one of them and it moved. Mr. McGregor climbed down onto the rubbish heap. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 little rabbits, said he as he dropped them into his sack. The Flopsy bunnies dreamt that their mother was turning them over in bed. They stirred a little in their sleep, but still they did not wake up. Look, oh dear, can you see there? They're going into the sack while they're still asleep. Hi Mark, hi Roxy. Oh dear, what's going to happen? Mr. McGregor tied up the sack and left it on the wall. He went to put away the mowing machine. While he was gone, Mrs. Flopsy Bunny, who had remained at home, came across the field. She looked suspiciously at the sack and wondered where everybody was. Then the mouse came out of her jam pot, and Benjamin took the paper bag off his head, and they told the doleful tale. Benjamin and Flopsy were in despair. They could not undo the string. But Mrs. Tittlemouse was a resourceful person. She nibbled a hole in the bottom corner of the sack. There she is, look. She's saving the day with her sharp little mouse teeth. The little rabbits were pulled out and pinched to wake them. Their parents stuffed the empty sack with 3 rotten vegetable marrows, an old blackening brush, and 2 decayed turnips. What's a blackening brush? Maybe it's for polishing your boots, old-fashioned boots. So they stuffed them with old vegetables. Then they all hid under a bush and watched out for Mr. McGregor. Mr. McGregor came back and picked up the sack and carried it off. He carried it hanging down, as if it were rather heavy. The Flopsy bunnies followed at a safe distance. There they are, following Mr. McGregor. And bunnies are very quiet, aren't they? So they can follow quite well. They watched him go into his house, and then they crept up to the window to listen. Mr. McGregor threw down the sack on the stone floor in a way that would have been extremely painful to the Flopsy bunnies if they had happened to have been inside it. They could hear him drag his chair on the flags and chuckle. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 little rabbits, said Mr. McGregor. Eh? What's that? What have they been spoiling now? Inquired Mrs. McGregor. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 little fat rabbits, repeated Mr. McGregor, counting on his fingers. 1, 2, 3. Don't you be silly. What do you mean, you silly old man? In the sack. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, replied Mr. McGregor. The youngest Flopsy bunny got up upon the windowsill. There they are, right outside the window. Pretty dangerous. Mrs. McGregor took hold of the sack and felt it. She said she could feel 6, but they must be old rabbits because they were so hard and all different shapes. Not fit to eat, but the skins will do fine to line my old cloak. Line your old cloak, shouted Mr. McGregor. I shall sell them and buy myself baccy. Rabbit tobacco, I shall skin them and cut off their heads. My goodness. Mrs. McGregor untied the sack and put her hand inside. When she felt the vegetables, she became very, very angry. She said that Mr. McGregor had done it on purpose. And Mr. McGregor was very angry too. One of the rotten marrows came flying through the kitchen window and hit the youngest Flopsy bunny. It was rather hurt. Oh no, look. Oh dear, he shouldn't have got upon the windowsill, should he? Oh, it's a risky game. Then Benjamin and Flopsy thought that it was time to go home. So Mr. McGregor did not get his tobacco, and Mrs. McGregor did not get her rabbit skins. But next Christmas, Thomasina Tittlemouse got a present of enough rabbit wool to make herself a cloak and a hood and a handsome muff and a pair of warm mittens. The end. And look, there she is, Thomasina. The rabbits gave her some wool. And she looks so cosy, doesn't she? And you know what? I think she deserves it because she helped them. She saved the day. Where would they be without her, eh? What do you think, Ted?
Oh, yes, I was quite scared for a minute there. But Thomasina, oh, what a shero.
She is a shero. That's exactly right. Hi, Anthony. Hi, Lisa. Reminds me of Jack and Ori when I was little. Oh, big hugs to you. Yes, love a bit of story time for kids and adults alike. I hope you enjoyed that. A little bit of Beatrix Potter there, if you've never heard it before, or if it's a blast from the past. I definitely enjoyed reading that. I like anything with animals in it and nature. So I really enjoyed that. And there's more too. There's Mrs. Tiggywinkle. I really like her. And there's a couple of other ones. So maybe I'll do some more. I'm back doing children's story time next week, Tuesday at 6:30 till 7, Tuesday and Wednesday, for the foreseeable weeks while we're all together staying at home. Thank you so much for watching. It's a real pleasure. And like I say, I've been asked to do a live video on Twitter now at 7 o'clock. So that's why I was just doing one story tonight. But in future I'll do some poetry as well or something. At 7, yep, on Twitter. My Twitter is just at Tamaryn Payne, just my full name. And I'm doing chapter 4 of The Secret Garden because someone's not around and they've been doing a reading of The Secret Garden. So who knows The Secret Garden? I do. It's one of my childhood books that I read that I really enjoyed, and yeah, we're still kind of towards the beginning on chapter 4, so if you want to tune in, that'll be great. Yeah, but if I don't see you then, I will see you maybe tomorrow. And remember, adults, I'm also reading, where is it? Oh, my laptop's on it. This book, which is awesome. I've only read one chapter so far, but they're standalone chapters, which is really great. So you don't have to tune into previous things. You can just tune in whenever. I'm reading this on Mondays and Thursdays. So on, tomorrow. I'm losing track of what day it is. Tomorrow at 8 p.m. I'm going to read chapter 2. It's great. You just learn about the universe. Wonderful. We did the Big Bang on Monday. So yeah, if you want to tune in for that, it will be here at 8 o'clock. Lots of love. I hope you're all doing really well. I hope you are all well. And if you're not well, I hope you're doing okay. Okay. It's bye from me, Ted, Yusuf the unicorn, and Mr. Robin at the back there. Lots of love. Bye.